Alrighty, so I'm recording. I'll go ahead and get started. So again, welcome to your SAGE pre-departure orientation for your spring study abroad program. Just so you won't get super confused, the vendor or program provider will and might possibly have their own pre-departure orientation, as well as your faculty might provide a one last meeting, their version of a pre-departure orientation. So you might be seeing this a lot, seeing the same information repeated. That is a-okay. We want to over communicate things rather than under communicate. And then everyone might have their own little bits of information. So I just want to let you know that that might be coming down the line. So we have New Zealand and Milan, Italy on the call. Having a spring pre-departure orientation is a little different. So we usually have our big winter groups, big summer groups. So this group is going to be a little bit smaller. All right. So like I said, the presentation will be recorded and uploaded to your Sage portal. For those not attending live, they will be required to complete an assessment on the Sage portal. This is a general pre-departure orientation for all, it says winter, but spring study abroad students. Like I said before, you should still attend your program-specific orientation hosted by your faculty leads and or provider. We will have a Q&A at the end. We will take any questions. Obviously, if there's something comes up in the moment and you don't want to forget, please feel free to put it in the chat and then we will respond immediately. All right. So then we have our agenda. So our Sage intro. So some of you might not know me, kind of been playing a lot in the background. We'll go into all of that. We'll do announcements, reminders, pre-departure checklist info. We'll go into student conduct that might be the meat of the whole orientation, and then pre-post program survey, resources, and then obviously the Q&A. So this is our Sage team, Cherie Merrill. She's our associate director and board advisor. Abigail Segura, she's on this call right now. She is our study abroad advisor and Gilman advisor. And then I am the study abroad lead. So a little bit of kind of differentiating what we do. Cherie's over all things study abroad. Abby or Abigail, she covers semester long individual study abroad students as well as advising on the Gilman Scholarship. And then I work with faculty one-on-one in creating these programs and also helping with the providers and assisting students some of the time. So, and then we have Paloma, our intern as well. And then we have our Global Titan ambassadors. So these are Titans that have been abroad and they kind of step in and help our SAGE team, our international education team, in assisting any on-campus events we may have and anything like that. Some things to keep in mind. We do have a study and hangout space in PLN 120. This is totally up for grabs if you ever need some sort of space to hang out, to, plug in and get some homework done. It is open pretty much, I want to say the same hours as the library. I think it might be closing at 5, Abby, if you want to correct me on that. But again, it is open space for you to sit, hang out, play cards, any of that. We also do coffee and tea hangouts for international students. So our international team also works with inbound as well as outbound. So you may be running into students from all over the world here. And then our spring Instagram takeover. If you ever, if you're going and wanting to study abroad and you're like, I really love Instagram. I'm really good at showcasing spaces and experiences and all the things above. Please feel free to scan this QR code and you can sign up for our spring Instagram takeover. Keep in mind, so this is a little different because a lot of our spring programs don't overlap, so there might be more open spots than a normal winter abroad program. So definitely, if you're interested, scan the QR code and yeah, fill out the application, and we will be in contact. Obviously, I will go through The slides, we will send a follow-up email with all of the links, all of the QR codes that you need. So if you don't catch this QR code now, no worries, it will be emailed to you. So our Global Titan Ambassador program. So this is a little bit of what the slide we had beforehand. This is again students who have studied abroad, who have been abroad. This can be a 1 week trip with a faculty. This can be a semester-long trip on your own. But if you ever want to come back and really just share of your experience, this is the best place for you. This is also going to be kind of a connector to students who haven't studied abroad before, haven't been abroad before in any capacity. We really want to engage and make sure alumni from the SAGE, from the study abroad programs, are able to stay connected with our global ambassador team through this program. So again, if you're interested, we'll send all this information in a follow-up email after this orientation. So your pre-departure checklist. We have students who are leaving next month. We have students who are leaving in the next couple months. So it's kind of scattered around this semester, but we still want to make sure that you are prepared and getting ahead of things. So, kind of things to keep in mind. A lot of information is found on our Sage Portal application. So, please make sure you're completing all the materials. The Teradata site is really good at sending out emails for materials that are not completed. So, just be sure that you're going in and checking. I've met with faculty from both programs. I think the biggest item we are wanting to make sure is completed is passports. So, please make sure you upload your passport information. Obviously, we never want to come into this scenario where you need a copy of your passport, i.e., you lost your passport. So, but in case something like that should happen, we always want to make sure there is a copy of it living it somewhere else. So that is a material item on your portal. I think there's 2 to 3 students on both programs that still need to follow up and put in your passport information. If you need any assistance to do so, please reach out. We can help you with that. Yeah, so you can also refer to it while you're abroad. So a lot of the things you're able to access um, here, we please, make sure you can do so while you're abroad. Your post-application phase should be completed at this point in time. We will follow up with students who have not done that. But again, the passport is probably the most important at this point in time. Your assessment videos, so travel, technology and communications, safety, security, conduct, money matters, insurance, emergencies, health and safety, financial aid, cultural adjustments, and academics. It's a lot of information, but it's all really good. So please be sure you're going back and watching those videos. This covers a multitude of situations you can find yourself in. So we just really want to make sure you're prepared as much as possible. And these videos will help you do that. All right, so I will stay on the screen a little bit longer, 24/7 line. Please use WhatsApp in emergencies. This is our 24/7 emergency line. Say this number to your phone. This goes directly to our Associate Director, Cherie. She, of course, is only expecting emergencies, but we'll walk through kind of what to do and who to communicate in case of an emergency. But obviously, we want to make sure that everyone has access to this phone number. So I'll kind of stay on for a couple seconds longer to make sure everyone has this number saved. Again, it will be in a follow-up email. All right, I'm going to move along. All right, so communication, WhatsApp. So kind of already mentioned that, and I know that some of your faculty already created WhatsApp groups. That's amazing. That's awesome. Super easy to use abroad. Um, we will have a Sage community WhatsApp group, and this is going to be split up into regions. So kind of how we use it will be a countrywide, area-wide emergency. So it'll be split up into countries or even just countries in that sense. And should we hear of anything, should we see anything of like, earthquake or some sort of political unrest in that area, we will reach out and just sort of check in for a proof of life. So it's not going to be anything super intense. We want to make sure that our team is accounted for. But please look out for that QR code. It will be added to the WhatsApp community. And again, it'll be for emergencies only. And this one will be kind of university to program location, whereas that phone number is going to be used for program location to the university. So think like, oh, we might reach out and say, hey, there was an earthquake in Italy. You guys might not haven't felt anything, but we're just doing our due diligence to follow up, send a picture of who you're with, send, hey, I'm okay, and then that'll be the end of that. Emergency only, so please don't use it for coordinating events, coordinating hangouts, all of that. Please do that amongst your own program group. And yeah, you look out for that QR code in that email. If you want to take your trip a little step further in terms of safety, we do recommend enrolling your program, your travel with the STEP, U.S. State Department STEP Traveler Program. It's a free service to allow U.S. citizens and nationals traveling and living abroad to enroll with the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate. So, should anything happen, the U.S. Embassy knows what Americans are abroad and who to contact and how to contact them. So, like I said, completely free. It doesn't hurt enrolling, always is a good extra step for safety. All right, so we're going to talk about traveling and illness. So, kind of what to do, what to look out for. So, check out the government resources to find out more about the risk of traveling to the particular countries. So you have students reach out to us if they should, need any shots, need any this or that. We're going to look at the same information that the USA Department is going to provide. So definitely look through that, as well as the Center of Disease Control and then the World Health Organization country page. So all that information is going to be kept up to date. And if you ask us, we'll probably lead you in the same direction. So if you want to take that extra step, that is going to be made available to you on those websites. Take some supplies of medication you may need, any relevant and necessary prescriptions. Bring a copy of your prescription document, and then be sure to research if your medications are legal in your host country/countries. Keep in mind that, any layovers, any countries you want to visit, kind of on your free time, those rules and regulations may change upon which area or country you are in. If not, you will need to request an alternative prior to your trip. So again, a lot of the students on on this orientation will be leaving at different times. So this is perfect time to make sure any medications you're taking is legal to bring on your person. We always like to say to make sure you keep your medication in the prescription bottle it came in. So sometimes you're trying to think, how can I make more space in my carry-on and my luggage, put it in a little baggie. Sometimes, if you get stopped and they see white pills in a little plastic baggie, that might look a little concerning. So, please, please, please keep your prescription in the prescribed bottle it came in, and then have a copy of your prescription document. We want to legitimize all medications as much as possible. So, the more documentation, the better. And again, any questions, please put in the chat. I have it open and we can stop and answer anything that may come up. All right, academics, be sure you are enrolled in your spring session course/courses. Remember to pay the associated tuition fee, um, or you can be dropped from the course. Your program's fee do not include the CF spring session tuition. So if you remember applying for the program on the brochure, we split up what the program fee is and what your tuition fee is. So make sure that you have all of those covered and paid for and accounted for. Your international travel insurance. So, information on travel insurance will be made available on the Sage portal application. I think everyone's insurance on this call should be bound. If you are kind of unaware or don't really know, want to double check, please let us know. But we accounted for everyone who's committed to the program. That's the information we used. So, you guys should all be good to go. Like it says, you will receive travel insurance prior to departure. All CSUF students studying abroad receive international travel insurance regardless of program Travel insurance for you is covered by the CSUF and it comes from the university through SAGE and risk management. We do suggest saving and printing a copy of the PDF insurance. I know um, iPhone, sometimes depending on the provider, insurance provider, whoever provider, iPhone can allow for some of these cards to be made available in your wallet. So it'll look like this. And if you log in, kind of peruse around the Chubb insurance website, sometimes it'll come up as a, would you want to have this on your iPhone wallet? So that is another way you can easily access it should you need it. But sometimes technology may fail us. So please, please, please also print out and have the copy of the insurance on your person at all times. All right, so we're going to go into student conduct and safety. This is, like I said earlier, going to be a lot of words, a lot of talking, as I've already been doing, but obviously we want to set the expectation ahead of time. So SAGE is committed to ensuring the preparedness and safety of students and program leaders who embark on faculty-led programs. The purpose of the information in this orientation and in the Student SAGE portal applications is to inform students about their responsibilities, uphold CSUF and CSU policies related to conduct while participating on this program. So we never, ever, ever are wanting to find ourselves in these scenarios, in these positions, but we always want to talk about it should it come to light. So please know that you guys did sign this agreement, this conduct agreement. So we want to go over what that looks like. So by signing this agreement, I further agree that I will not participate in the following activities. So use, possession, distribution of alcohol and or facilitating the use, possession, or distribution of alcohol by any underage individual. So underage, that's going to catch us because we're going to countries where the drinking age is younger than the US drinking age. If you ask the university, we're always going to adhere by the US standard of 21. Um, should you work outside, go outside of that, please do so and hold yourself in a, respectful and contextual manner. You're going to be going to different countries, and said countries will be hosting a lot of other foreigners from other countries. So we always want to respect and be understanding of the locals and their local standards and things of that matter. Same with drugs, use, possession, and distribution of any illegal or illicit drug use, sexual assault, sexual harassment, or indecent exposure. Sexual assault is defined as the implied use or threatened use of force to engage in any sexual activity against another person's will. Um, Also, will not participate in behavior that threatens the emotional or physical well-being and or safety of participants, including but not limited to any form of fighting. Unauthorized use of fire safety equipment, including activation of alarms or extinguishers without immediate cause. Possession of any weapons, failure to attend any planned events, activity without approval of my faculty, staff, supervisor. So you might be sitting on this call being like, oh, what are you talking about? I can never imagine being in a situation. I can never imagine, fighting or anything like that. We just want to make known and make aware of what you signed off on should you find yourself in any of these situations. All right, so expectations. So again, lots of words, but we really want to cover an overview of what this looks like. Again, you'll be at two other orientations to specific. You'll be at two other orientations that will specify the expectations of those locations. So expectations, adherence to all policies and procedures in the Student Code of Conduct, California Code Regulations, Title V, Section 41301, and agreed upon terms in the CSUF Student Conduct Agreement, travel related event or activity. So again, we'll have students be like, I didn't sign off on this. I don't know what this is and include this. Yes, you did. Please, we feel free to look over this on your own time, but we want to remind you of the expectations we have. While this is CSUF side, please make sure you are abiding by local laws and regulations as students on this program. We expect you to be made aware of that on your own. So Italy may be different, will be different than New Zealand, completely different regions, cultures, contexts, languages, all the above. So please be aware that that is going to look wildly different than the US. I was in Ireland and we didn't know that I think it's the peace sign is used differently than it is in the US. So different things like that you may not even be aware of could cause um, a domino effect of reaction. So do your research, look into what the differences may look like. Adherence to the itinerary and directions provided through the trip, even when planned activities change. Staying connected and participating with the group at all times for scheduled programs and scheduled program activities. So we like to keep the study and study abroad. You are there with a course attached to that program and itinerary. So all the itinerary and activities um, are useful, and we really want to make sure that you stick to those. Adherence to curfews and rules set by program leaders. Obviously, we know that you guys are adults, but the program leaders are chosen and have set their own expectations for a reason. So please, whatever rules, whatever curfews, adhere to those. Acting with respect to all participants as well as representatives of the host location. So, again, just being respectful, being understanding of the context, dressing in ways that are appropriate to activities and cultural norms of the host location. This might be covered by your provider orientation because they might know more as far as dress code and all of that. Demonstrating polite etiquette during social and dining activities. Americans have a great reputation of being super loud when you're abroad, especially in Europe and New Zealand. So just be aware of it, not saying to hold back or anything like that, but that is that is what we're known for. So just be aware of that and act accordingly. Always acting in curious and courteous ways and remembering at all times that the trip is a form of education, both academically and culturally. So you may find yourself in scenarios where you might say, that is weird, that is odd. We don't do it like that. And those may slip out, but we challenge you to change your narrative and say, hey, this is different. I want to learn why they do it this way. Why do we do it this way? So any chance you get, be curious rather than, snuffy or anything like that. Also, not permitting those who are not participants in the program to accompany any portion of the program or allowing access to any facilities or housing that are part of the program. So, what does this mean? If your parents just so happen to be in Italy, Milan, Cortina, just so happen to be in the many cities you'll be visiting in New Zealand, please, we're not permitting those who are not on the program to participate in any part of the program. So your dorm room, wherever you're eating with the team that day, or any of the provider academic engagements, please kind of keep those separate. We don't have your parents sitting in your classrooms, so we kind of have that same rule. So we want to respect your fellow participants and in that and keeping all the engagements with just the participants. Alerting program leaders about any known problems facing the individual and or group through objective accounts of the situation. So, should anything look weird, let us know, is basically what that means. If there's any situations with locals or anything like that, please let us know, and we will be looped in and make sure that there is a plan in place to make sure everyone's safe. Social media etiquette. So the who, what, why, when, and where. So who, please exercise caution when posting the faces or identities of others. We know with the rise of technology and AI, some people have become a lot more reserved when they see cameras come out, when they see phones come out. So please, be aware of who might be in this photo. Do not photograph minors. That is just out of respect of parents um, and just that situation. Always ask for permission when before taking a photo of another person. If they just so happen to be in the photo, if they are kind of there, just make sure that they are aware. And if they're okay, go ahead. Allow them time to walk away if they don't want to be in the photo, and confirm whether you can use the photo on social media for social media purposes, especially if you're going to be doing the takeover. for sure don't want to put anyone in any awkward positions. What? You are not only representing Sage, but also CSUF. Please ensure the content is suitable. For example, we advise that you refrain from posting content that showcases excessive alcohol consumption. We never want to assume anything that's not true in the photo, but if the photo allows for assumptions to be made, assumptions will be made. Why? Remember the study and study abroad in every social media post. Why are you posting this? What should be the takeaway? Are you wanting some sort of academic takeaway? Please, use the social media post or story or whatever in that way. When? So be in the mo moment, take all the photos you'd like, but worry about posting later. It takes away from the experience. And then where? Be cautious of location tagging. Try not to post locations while you are still there. Again, it is very the Europe is known for a lot of students studying abroad, so a lot of, creepy people have kind of found their way into figuring out, oh, this, group of people, group of girls, group of guys posted at this bar at this time. I'm going to show up to that bar at that time and find this person because their um, handle is attached to this location. So, again, you might be thinking that happens. Yes, it does. So, of course, if you want to share locations, do so when you're not there at that specific location. All right, so possible consequences for violation, disciplinary action, expulsion from the program, legal consequences, financial loss, risk to health and safety, and I want to add this one, just natural consequences. Like I mentioned before, you are in a different cultural context, you are in a different country. All of these things may and if you're not aware of that and you act, just however you act in America, and that might not translate the same, there are natural consequences. You might bump into someone and you might say something, do something that is not okay in that context. So just be aware that that is something that's out of our hands and you might be at the fault of. So, of course, we never want to get down this road where we have to entertain any of these consequences, but do know um, this can be an option. All right. So your purpose. So after all of the conduct, all of the safety, let's kind of hone in why you're going. So before you leave, consider what do I want to gain from this experience? What do I want to learn? But also be open to learning from things you don't always expect to happen. So for some of you, this may be your first time abroad. This may be your first time in this country. This may be your first time traveling with a faculty and your classmates. So really hone in what you want to gain from the experience. Be open to things that you may not be aware of. There might be foods, phrases, different things like that that you may not never heard of, and this may be your chance to really throw yourself into the culture. So we always encourage you to do that. All right, so this is the pre-programmed survey. If you want to scan with your phone and fill it out super quick, again, this will be on the follow-up email, so you don't have to rush to do so. But really, we really want to know more about your experience abroad even beforehand. So we always are striving to do better. Please be honest and kind and let us know what we can do to do that. All right, so we will hold off on scanning this QR code for this is our winter 26. Again, this is our first time having such a large spring cohort. So we are wanting to have our own short-term spring community WhatsApp group. And then if you do want to look at the Sage packing list, what we recommend, please look into that. We always want to support if any questions do come up. As far as packing, as far as emergency, let us know. That's all I have for you. This is another way to contact us if you do have any questions. But that I have all of you on this call. Please feel free. I'll wait a minute or so for any questions to come up in the chat, and we can go over it together. the survey code. All right. Will students be able to do a social media takeover on the Study Abroad Instagram? Yes. So it will be on our Study Abroad Sage Instagram account. We will email any instructions that you may need to do so. So we can send out that link if you're interested to do so. And yeah, all the instructions will be there. And Abby, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's just a day that they may have to do their takeover.
We depending on the our social media calendar, it's typically 3 to 5 days that we
Oh,
give. Hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? I'll wait a couple more minutes. I will also go back to the social media takeover slide. All right. So I don't see any more questions coming through. Abby, the Milan trip isn't listed for Q5. We will go ahead and make an adjustment to the sign up to make sure that the Milan trip is made as an option. But yeah, we will make sure that that is made available to you guys. Any other questions so far? Yeah, apologies on that. Any other questions so far? Okay. So again, all of the links will be emailed to you. Should any of your friends, anyone that wasn't able to join, there will be a survey for them to fill out or a questionnaire to make sure that they received all the information as well as the recording. But yeah, we will follow up with the pre-program survey, the Instagram's takeover signups, and then the WhatsApp community number. If I'm forgetting anything, I'll make sure I'll review in the email beforehand. But should any other questions arise, let me know. But that's all we have for you. Oh, and Abby just put the link for the IG takeover, so feel free to look over that. And I think it's question 5. Milan isn't listed as a trip. So we'll make sure that one's going for you guys. But thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate it. Look out for that email and safe travels.